and welcome back to the Game Informer Show. I'm your host, Ben Hanson, joined by some Sony Bend developers working on Days Gone. We have Eric, the world designer. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you.
What's your last name, sir?
Jensen.
There we go, Eric Jensen. And then we have Jeff Ross,
Hello.
game director for Days Gone.
Yeah, that's me.
Thanks for swinging by the hotel, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not it. We also have Enric from MercurySteam. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
The studio head.
Studio head, yeah.
That's an impressive title.
Well, some days.
Is that right?
Other days is a pain in the ass.
And how long have you been at MercurySteam?
Sorry?
How long have you been at MercurySteam?
Since the beginning. I'm co-founder as well.
Really?
Yeah, 2002, 15 years.
Oh, wow.
So going back to the old days, Clive Barker's Jericho, all that stuff?
Yeah. Well, we started with Scrapland. Any of you remember American McGee's Presents Scrapland?
I do.
Okay.
I never played it, but I played Alice,
Okay.
and I looked at the box for Scrapland.
All right, here we go. That's a good step one.
Yeah.
We love it, man. Well, welcome to the States all the way from Spain.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. How's your E3 been so far?
Terrific. I mean,
Yeah?
we are presenting 2 games. One of them was a big surprise yesterday. And the other one is fully playable on the booth.
Yeah, Raiders of the Broken Planet you're talking about.
It is.
And the surprise one, can you even say the name of what this game is?
Metroid.
Metroid.
Nice.
This
Samus
guy announced a
Returns.
Metroid game
incredible.
Wow.
on Tuesday. What was it like to keep that secret for so long?
You know what? There's very little I can say about it.
I get it.
Okay,
I
as
get it.
as you may understand.
Yes.
So the guys are from Nintendo, and game director are giving interviews all day. I think they gave you
Yeah,
one
for
to
sure.
you.
Yeah, we absolutely talked to him,
And
for
it's
sure.
up to them. I mean, I don't want to steal,
Yeah.
any from them. So I'm just I'm here to talk about Raiders of the Broken Planet and whatever else you want.
Absolutely. A
Okay.
scale of 1 to 10, how exciting is it for the studio to work on Metroid, though? Where are we at?
It's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. All right, that's
It's
all
a-
I want to
It's
know.
a clear 10 out of 10.
Oh, my God. You made a lot of fans very happy, so thanks to you guys for working on that over there.
Okay, we did our best.
All right, awesome. Hey, Days Gone.
Hey.
How's the show been for you guys?
Oh, this show has
Yeah.
been awesome. We've had a great reception. It's been really cool to meet the fans coming out of the theater, talking about the alternate demo that we showed. I got a bro hug from somebody today. Just walking, he was walking on the show, I was walking in. It was pretty cool. So
What does that entail exactly?
just a bro giving a bro a hug, something like that. It's just what it is.
He saw the demo and it really struck him?
Yeah, he saw the demo and loved it and thanked me for it. And I don't even know how he knew I was involved because I was barely wearing my shirt, but it was pretty cool. But I mean, that's just in a nutshell kind of what the entire experience has been.
Yeah.
And people have been really enthusiastic about it, and just it's been a really positive response in most cases. So we're thrilled.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, okay, so you guys debuted at PSX and E3. It gets mushed together in my mind, but it was at E3 last year with the last big demo?
E3 last year.
Yeah.
Okay, were you showing gameplay demos behind closed doors last year as well?
Nope, just that.
Okay, so Eric, you're actually running that then this year, the behind closed doors
Yeah,
stuff. How
yeah.
did that go to run through that demo again and again and again?
No, it was great. Like it's a blast to play through, and we actually showed a different version of what we showed at the media showcase.
Yeah.
So we get to show an alternate path and how some of our open world dynamic systems work with the time and weather changes and how that can kind of change how you play through the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was the thing is you heard rumblings of like, oh, I think it's pretty similar to the press conference, but then actually going behind closed doors and seeing it's like, oh, the snow. You spent a lot of time taking out those camps one by one, really got to soak in the experience instead of just trying to make it all wham bam. By the way, really get up on that mic there.
All right.
There, you're on it. What was your favorite moment from the behind closed doors demo? Like, what's the key that you've seen a million times now, but something that always pops for you that you're really proud of?
I going through with the snow, like it was really cool because it kind of really changes the gameplay,
Yeah.
and being able to see people seeing the snow for the first time. We've shown off some of the weather stuff previously, but the snow is a big one, and it really does change the landscape. The bike handles differently, so you have to take that into consideration. When it's at night and it's cold with the snow, the freakers come out in larger numbers. They're stronger. It's more difficult to deal with. So it really makes the situation super intense.
Yeah.
I want to jump in on that. And one
Please.
of the things that since you asked me, one of my favorite things was just how we showed kind of the depravity of the world, and just 2 years into this type of apocalypse, just how dangerous it's become. And it's not just the freakers or the horde; it's human beings. And in the media showcase demo that we showed, Deacon planted a bear trap, which is kind of hardcore, just to create a diversion. And he ran off, and then you kind of heard a gunshot, and then it triggered a horde that kind of ran off. And in this one, you can actually stick around the camp and kind of watch that play out to its conclusion.
It gets brutal.
And,
yeah.
and you see where that gunshot came from. And it's the guy in the bear trap was screaming and crying in pain, and his friends were trying to get him to shut up, and he wouldn't shut up, and they were just afraid the cries were going to draw a bunch of freakers in. And so boom, they shot him in the head, and it's sick and twisted, but kind of what I think people should be thinking of in this world is like that was kind of the right play.
Yeah.
It was like the only move these people had available to them. And it's just something where I think that that's the context of this brutal world that's kind of lying in wait for the player. It's these people 2 years in, they're not, they could be good people, but they're hardened people. They've done everything so far perfectly to survive, and they have to continue executing like that. And that means at a level that is kind of opposite the player's own goals.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to me.
Yeah, years in, just boiled down to the best of the best, the most survivable. It's basically endgame Survivor.
Yeah.
If you guys are Survivor fans, right?
Yeah.
Or Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, that type of thing. All right, I love it. There we go. Throw on one of the Hunger Games bus.
Nice.
Something that stood out real quick watching it is, I don't mean artistically or technically, but I love that there's some characters in your game that are just not attractive. There's some weird-looking dudes that have survived this apocalyptic state. It is just a weird ragtag group that have all gathered together. So, like, what are those factions like? How many different groups of humans are there? Is it clearly defined between the good guys and the bad, evil camps that are more like pirates out there? What is humanity like at this point?
Oh, it's rarely that black and white. I mean, what we saw this week, it was one encampment, which is just they're groups of survivors who band together and they build fortresses and they just try to create a new society where they still need supplies and they have to deal with outsiders to kind of like Deacon to go out and do odd jobs for them, help them gather supplies. And in return, they have mechanics who can help him upgrade his bike, and that's actually what the demo was this time. Was they got hit by some marauders, and they had to basically hire Deacon to go out and rescue their mechanic. So it's something where that's just one of several, and it's the one we're going to be talking about this week. But it's nothing is black and white in this world. That's not interesting in the least.
Yeah.
Did you say rudders?
Pardon me?
Did you say rudders? Rudders.
Marauders.
Marauders?
Oh, marauders. Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
I said my English is rubbish. Because I understood rudders, and we have rudders in our game as well.
What is that?
What's funny is we have runners in our game, which are the infected wolves that we saw tonight.
Oh,
so I was
really?
a little confused, yeah.
Right.
But
I love the idea of humanity is like tweak the name. It's not just wolves anymore. It's going to be runners, right? Or even like the zombie bear, which everyone calls the zombie bear. You guys have the name for it.
The
which is
Rager.
Yeah, that's the Rager.
The Rager. What is it? Do you guys get into that crazy level of lore of like why humanity is changing the names, how society has adapted to this new environment?
we just try to capture the vernacular of the survivors. We're really, there is a backstory to everything, but good art tells you the least amount necessary and lets people interpret and run with it and kind of let it grow in their minds and be much richer than it might actually be. And that's kind of what we want to do. But the survivors have to refer to these things in some ways.
And then the runners is kind of a descriptor of what they do. These infected wolves, they can run really fast, as you saw in the media showcase demo. It could catch up with them super fast, and if you're not careful, it can knock you off the bike.
Yeah, and that bike is one of the most interesting things about Days Gone. Is like, I've never really. I'm trying to think. Maybe like Brutal Legend, or they're trying to think of like when kind of like Chrome mentality has entered an open world setting. You just get to drive a bike around that type of environment. It's really unique. So, and you guys also have like an upgrade path for the bike, right?
Yeah, and it's not just a visual thing. It's not just because of the biker culture. One of the really cool things about Deacon that makes him the hero or the main character of our game is the fact that for better or worse, whether he wanted it or not, his personality, his lifestyle, his habits, his skills, they all were that perfect storm of elements that allowed him to be the perfect candidate for surviving the apocalypse. He didn't trust the authorities. He could ride his motorcycle. He didn't get stuck in traffic jams and murdered with everybody else. He's able to kind of split through some cars and go off-road and escape. And it's just through all these little random variables that he became the main hero of the game, the survivor number one for that we're focusing our lens on. So the bike is important in so many ways. That, mechanically for the upgrade path, for surviving and improving, but also just because it's who he was before the apocalypse in a much more macho kind of visual, put it on display way.
Yeah.
And now it's on a much more raw, kind of purposeful survival way. But it's still an extension of his personality, which is why he's just got one bike.
Yeah.
And when he loses it, he loses it. He's got to get it back. Nothing is easy in this world, and we're really making players focus on that kind of detail where they just can't drive it into a lake and then whistle for a new one or call a homie to have them bring them a new helicopter. It's this is your bike.
That's how you
Take care
build
of it.
that bond. I mean, just to bring it back to another Sony game like Shadow of the Colossus, like you love aggro because that's your horse, man.
Right.
You have to ride it through thick and thin. And the
Yep.
idea of with the bike now, probably not as emotive as aggro in some ways, but just the idea of having to repair it, I think it'll really build up that relationship
Right.
between those two.
Yeah, and the bike has kind of adapted to the world just as Deacon has, because his Harley type bike in the past doesn't work in the high desert of the Pacific Northwest. There's rugged terrain and mountains, and you can't just do that. So he's been able to adapt his motorcycle the same way he's had to adapt to the changes in the world.
Totally.
Right, with NOS and stuff like that, so you can make those sweet jumps.
Right.
Because you want, look, it's an apocalyptic setting, but you want it to be a little bit fun for people riding that bike, right?
There's got to be some attitude, but it's
Yeah.
also got to be functional. And in this case, the nitro's there to accelerate out of some problems, i.e., some runners that might come up on you when you're not ready for. So it's not available from the beginning. It's something you have to work for, doing jobs for these encampments and kind of gaining trust and doing that loop in order to be able to afford these things to be able to be more powerful and escape situations that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Enric, you've worked with vampires quite a bit. The King Lord Dracula himself.
I used to, but not
Used
anymore.
to,
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Konami's thought of that.
Was
Not going to happen.
6-7 years
Of your life. Just,
surrounded with vampires, and we said one day, okay, that's enough.
what are your thoughts on zombies in general, or freakers?
Let's
as
go a
Dave's
bit
gonna
science
call them?
fiction, and this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a quite intense period of my life, the Castlevania or Shadow series. But we said it even before finishing All Shadow 2. We said this is the last one. Honest, this is going to be the last one.
End of
And
the story.
Yeah, end of the story, and we don't have anything else to say about it. So we did it, and we moved to the Broken Planet.
Yeah. And what's exciting to you about Broken Planet?
Pretty much everything. First, the most exciting thing is the huge risk we're running, because this is a self-published game, and we are doing everything. So starting by finances and the game development itself, but also all the complexity of having a publisher, having to do everything yourself. But it's paying off, because I think that we have a cool concept. We have on the surface it may look like another shooter, but as soon as you get your hands on, you fully realize that, first of all, it's a game that takes you out of your comfort zone very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kick your ass, essentially. And second is a 4v1, okay? But it's not 4v1 in the sense of other similar examples, recent examples. It's a game where you're living an adventure, you play mission by mission, you move forward in the adventure, and you can play every mission solo if you want. You can play along 3 more people, and when you do that, you have to accept that sometimes a 5th player is going to join the bad guys. He's going to play alongside the AI.
And this is an idea you guys have had for a while now?
Oh, yeah. And you never know when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's a style, a little bit of that feeling you get when you're playing Dark Souls and you are invaded, something like that, but in a more structured way.
Yeah.
Because it's at the beginning of the mission where this happens. The good thing about this is the coolness of this concept is, independently on the asymmetry of the combat, is that the objectives for both teams are completely different. The raiders, the good guys, they have to accomplish a mission. They don't have to kill the antagonist. They have to accomplish a mission, and the antagonist, it has just troll the raiders. So the antagonist is a troll. He has to find a way to ruin the raiders' mission, and that creates some very, very interesting situations.
What's the best way to troll other players in the game?
It depends on the mission. I've seen antagonists winning over raiders without killing any of them. Just, driving them into weird situations and having the AI killing them, or other antagonists doing the other way around. I mean, it's up to you. It depends on the mission. It depends on the raiders you're facing. And when you play as a raider, let's say that you have to focus on the mission, but you can't forget about the antagonist. Because, yeah, it's 1 versus 4, but if you forget about that single enemy, you're fucked. So it's something that people is embracing. I mean, we're in beta for 2 months now.
Okay.
And yeah, people is loving it. They are helping us a lot because we are fixing lots of bugs and improving the game in all manners possible. And after all, this game doesn't make any sense without the community around it. So yeah, we're on it, and we're going to release sometime this year.
I think both of you guys, all of you guys on the couch, you're in an interesting spot where studios have been around for a while. I mean, Sony Bend's been around for a shockingly long amount of time. You guys, you guys are legends in the industry at this point, and now it's like the spotlight with this E3 in particular. It's really shining on both studios here. What is that like? Does it feel like a night and day difference as far as studio morale, overall office vibe? What's it like to be this much in the spotlight, both with Days Gone and Metroid and Raiders of the Broken Planet?
I think last year when we showed for the first time, and we come out of the dark after like basically 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of new talent and a lot of young talent, and it was exciting. I mean, I think it kind of emboldened everybody, showed them that the hard work, because it's really tough to stay objective all the time when you're this close to something.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, I think it reinvigorated the studio for the next year to carry us to this one. And I think that since the response was better, when we get back, we'll see. But I mean, people are loving it. I check my email, and people are getting emails from from friends of friends in the industry and their kids who love the Rager Bear and want a teddy bear version of it and everything. So it's awesome. Obviously, when things go well, it's even better and stuff.
Yeah.
But it is really cool to kind of like have Sony's resources to kind of give us a theater, get us a prime spot in the media showcase. I mean, that doesn't hurt, but it's they're doing that because they have confidence in us, and I think that it in turn gives the team more confidence. It's great. I don't know about Eric.
No, it's truly been incredible. Like, this is the biggest game that the studio's ever done, I think.
Definitely.
Obviously we're known for Siphon Filter.
Yeah.
We did Resistance and Uncharted Golden Abyss. This is, it's a new IP. Takes some time. We're really putting a lot of love into it, and to see that other people are showing love to it is incredible.
And you think everyone back home is just reading every YouTube comment, every comment they can get,
sure,
every
yeah.
tweet?
Yeah.
I tell them not to.
Is that right?
No, I mean, I kind of sample it here or there, but like, you just can't live that way. I mean, you've got to do it objectively, but it'll tear you apart. It's just
You're
That's
absolutely
true,
right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
But Enric, I mean, you guys, you must just, I'm sure, I haven't checked YouTube recently, but I'm sure at the announcement of a new 2D Metroid, I'm sure there's fan videos of people in tears. You think the team watches that back home?
I read a Twitter the other day about someone that said, "Please, guys, my mental health depends on you."
Oh my God.
So I'm not sure to willing that responsibility, but it's great. You know what? After 15 years, we are exactly the same we were 15 years ago.
Yeah?
Exactly the same, exactly the same, willing to do something great, willing to to make the best possible game you can, and making games is something that you have good days, you have bad days, and the bad days are very, very bad, especially when you are independent studio. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I mean, we do what we love, and we'll keep doing this until someone tell us, "Hey guys, go out."
Yeah. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the Spanish game development scene. What is game development like in Spain? How many other studios are there? I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, Spanish industry is in a very particular situation because there's no studios our size. There's no other studios our size. There's plenty of talent, plenty, but very, very small studios doing things for iOS, Android, etc. And no, a few other studios over the years. The 80s were a very, very good era for Spanish software.
Really? Help me out. What is like the peak Spanish 80s game?
You're not going to remember.
Okay.
Try it.
Don't worry. You're not. Sorry.
Try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff knows Spanish games very well.
The Crimes Abbey. Any of you remember the Crimes Abbey?
Crimes Abbey.
Crimes
got me.
Abbey.
I don't think so. What system is this? What is this? PC stuff?
Yeah, I think it was PC. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but today is far easier than it was a few years ago. When we started, you know what happened? I mean, before establishing the company, I went to ask a few people far more experienced than myself to ask them if that was a good idea or not. And each one of them told me don't do it. You're crazy. You don't understand this industry. You're going to lose till the last cent. And you know why? They were right. We lost till the last cent. But if we had done what they said, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a twisted reality, right? It's a mixed. I mean, common sense tells you don't do it. Go this way. But you're not going anywhere.
Jeff, what is that? I mean, what does it take to stick around for so long? Just that will to try something different?
You know, we love doing it. And, you know, personally speaking, I do this kind of stuff. If I wasn't getting paid, you didn't hear that, Vic, I'd still do this. You know, at home in my spare time, I would, I take things apart. I like to see how they're put together. And, you know, we just love games. And it's, I don't know, like, we need to eat. But beyond that, it's, you know, we do this because we love it, not because of the money. And, you know, I'll say I've been around long enough to kind of, you know, talk about, you know, to witness the industry in its many different phases, you know, where it went from publishers with a lot of leverage and like no competitors to the leveling of the playing field. This started to happen with game engines, and then the even greater level of the playing field with iOS and Android, and then the even greater level of the playing field with Unity. You know, so it's just, we're competing with a lot of other product, and it's something where it rightfully should be easier to make games than it has been. And so that part's really, really cool to see. But it also means that you have to have a really strong singular vision that kind of, you know, that your game has a very focused aesthetic, and that everything serves it, and it's something that's serving a fantasy that you hope that enough people have, that they get excited about, that they want to buy, and then you just execute on it. And it's, so it is really weird, like, just to kind of experience the industry from all those different positions of power or leverage, you know, in different phases.
Yeah, just hoping it rises above the clouds, stands out, and you feel like open world, zombie, or freakers, you know, action
massive
game,
hordes.
massive hordes. We have a motorcycle. Like, that is a pretty unique take. No one's really done that. We hope it's an image people will grab onto.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. E3 2017 overall. Any big impressions? Anything you want to get off your chest?
Oh man, it was busy. There was a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because, you know, having the public there this year, we got a whole new group of people able to see the game.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You know, and
Is it possible this year was less noisy?
Not
You
in
think
our
so?
booth. Not in our
Yeah,
area.
it was
Maybe
pretty-
just
it
the
was pretty loud
Xbox
by us,
area was a
yeah.
little bit quieter over there for
Yeah.
you.
No,
Yeah.
it was incredible seeing all the faces. You know, just random people coming up to us off, you know, pretty much off the street. People wanting to come in and see games because they love games, and coming up to us personally and telling us how much they like seeing it. And, you know, it means a lot.
You see any Deacon St. John cosplay yet?
Not yet. I got asked quite a few times to have people make patches for them, and yeah.
Oh, you got to put up the cosplay guide. That's
Yeah.
got to be the whole thing. Then E3 next year, you guys can really savor that.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do.
That's going to be amazing. Enric, are you at a point where is anybody stopping you and thanking you for Metroid or any other titles? Were you recognized at the hall at any point?
A couple of times, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that nice?
It's embarrassing.
Don't talk about the thing I'm most passionate about. Come on.
I had one person stop me.
Yeah?
A gentleman by the name of Hideo Kojima.
Shut the hell up. What are you doing here? Did he really?
Yeah, no, on Tuesday night at this rooftop mixer Sony party, he summoned me over to kind of tell me how awesome the
He
game
snapped
was.
his fingers from
Well,
the opposite
no,
side of the room.
it was. I was looking at him. I mean, but no, he just he was a huge fan of the game, and he was just very honest. Told me the things that he liked and didn't like, and he loved it. He was talking about it all day. It was all very straightforward designer to designer stuff, and
Love
it
it.
was. Yeah, it was surreal. I mean, Vic and Eric and everybody's sick of me telling the story, but you
No,
guys haven't
I'm
heard
not.
it.
Please have at
But
it.
I mean, it was. He really likes it, and it's really, you know, we saw it last year. We've been kind of just running into each other at a couple of conferences now, and it's something where he genuinely really likes it, and I get the sense that he wouldn't tell you otherwise if he felt otherwise. And it's exciting to the point where I don't want to let him down now. You know, every little thing's going to go through that lens, but it's.
He's a big Night of the Living Dead fan. I'd imagine that would come through, and he's just excited for like Sony embracing zombies in a big way. Let's do this. Is there like one singular message from Kojima you're going to relay back to the team?
I'm still trying to kind of parse it and put it back together, trying to figure out what was said. But in general, it was. I asked him, "Is there anything wrong?" Just to kind of. He's like, "None, not a thing at all." He liked the pacing of our behind the closed doors demo a lot better because we let the things breathe, and
for sure.
that's a spot on observation. and it's something where it was just nothing but positivity for it. So it was surreal. I kept the champagne glass he gave me, so I just got to get it through the airport now, where we did cheers and everything. But I'm going to tell this one for like 10 years.
That's absolutely amazing. Well, congrats to both teams here, and be sure to relay good vibes back home. A lot of work ahead of you, but feeling good overall?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to get back.
Enric, feeling good about the team's challenges up ahead?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining me on the Game Informer Show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode. Be sure to tune in next Thursday when we'll have our next regular episode. Bye, everybody. Keep waving while I shut off the video.